The Riyadh Comedy Festival was supposed to be a cultural milestone, an olive branch of laughter in the desert sands. Instead, it's become an online bonfire where Whitney Cummings and Bill Burr find themselves roasting, mostly unintentionally. Both comedians, fresh off performing in Saudi Arabia, have spent the past week defending themselves again on their respective podcasts. Meanwhile, journalist Mehdi Hassan has re-entered the chat, armed with reports of torture, murder, and dismemberment, and not nearly as many punchlines. Cummings, ever the eloquent analyst of digital hysteria, offered a long and meandering reflection on social media rage, describing it as a kind of diet where everyone's malnourished but convinced they're right.
We really break news over here. Hey, everyone. I just am going to start by saying righter than I've ever been. Sorry. Look, I'm realizing when someone is mad at you on the internet, disagrees with you on the internet, I'm not, honestly, you haven't seen what I've seen, and I haven't seen what you've seen. So there's no way either of us know who we're fighting or what set of beliefs and evidence we're fighting. Like, I realized, like, because last week, I said what I said, and I said, and people are like, yeah, how dare you say we're racist? I'm like, I didn't call you racist. Who are you? I'm talking about the messages I read. I don't think you were one of them. But did you see the message? If you saw the messages I read, you would have, I think, said the same thing. But again, let me see your phone. I got to see your phone. I need to see what you saw about me. Because honestly, if I look at your, the TikTok videos you've seen about, I might be like, oh, you are right to think that about me. None of these are true, but like.
They got you.
I know exactly. But like, actually, we get along great because I would have deduced the exact same thing if that's what I've seen. So we have no idea what like mosaic of stuff people are seeing about us, I'm realizing. Because we used to be able to control what people knew about us in some reasonable, like it would be like, I have this special this year, and now you see that I'm engaged, and these are my beliefs. Next year, not engaged anymore. Here are my current beliefs. Now it's just like people watch a video from when I was 22 being like, hey, man.
In her view, people aren't angry because of moral conviction. They're angry because the algorithm force-fed them outrage until they got heartburn. She likens online critics to drunk bar patrons who just need a glass of water and maybe a movie like Bend It Like Beckham to sober up. This is classic Cummings, self-aware, neurotic, and charmingly convinced that if we could just see each other's TikTok feeds, peace would be achieved. Yet notably absent from her analysis was the small issue of where she performed. A kingdom where women were once arrested for driving and journalists have a habit of disappearing. In her telling, the real problem isn't authoritarianism. It's that people on Twitter don't know how to scroll responsibly.
I used to complain like, oh my God, my Comedy Central specials, they're all like on Viacom.edu now. Where are they? What channel are they on? They're down in the...
They're on VHS at Vidiots.
They're on TikTok. This is how much people, they got a VHS tape, recorded it, uploaded it somehow, went to the Ren Fair, got the,
Merlin.
The Saturday Witch. That's the real one. Not the Friday morning one. The Saturday Witch figured out a way to put the film on TikTok. They FedExed it over to China and they uploaded it on the DeLorean. Whatever it is, I'm on your side. If you are mad at me, I'm on your side. If you're not mad at me, I'm on everyone's side. I actually think when people are like, oh, everyone's so crazy now and everyone's so mad at everything. I'm like, no, I think they're having the reaction you would have given what they were being fed. And we don't know. It's like when it's like, why is that kid acting so hyper? Well, they only had sugar. Oh, that makes sense. We're going why is that person so angry on the internet? Well, they probably only got fed things to make them angry. Oh, got it. Like, we have to start looking at certain social media diets as like sugar or alcohol or something, It's like, why is he freaking out? Well, he's had 4 drinks. He's been on the internet for 40 minutes. Of course he's acting like that. You're showing up like, I'm not angry. Yeah, you've only been here for 2 minutes. Your drink's not even here yet. I think it's kind of, it's a level of intoxication, right? So when I see someone like coming at me mad on the internet, I'm like, oh, so you've been here a while, huh? Whereas people are like, hey, that was a funny thing. I'm like, so you just got here? No, you
Can't find your way out.
you were on a plane, no Wi-Fi today?
Bill Burr's response, in contrast, was shorter and more predictably Burr-like. He mocked the internet's moral panic while admitting he's trying to spend less time online. Ironically, the healthiest take in the room. To Burr, the backlash is just another round of digital absurdity.
And the funny thing is, when someone says to go touch grass, I'll sometimes go to their profile, and those same fucking people are the ones who look like they've been tweeting or posting 20 goddamn hours a day. Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, I've been off Instagram. I mean, I got to post shit every once in a while, but as far as death scrolling, I have not done that on Instagram since the beginning of September. And with all that bullshit a couple weeks ago, I'm glad I was off it. I would be willing to bet that these same fucking people are just sitting there day to day, subscribed to 9 different streaming services so they can watch all their god-awful reality TV show drama and to lecture the rest of us about how necessary it is that we all understand how important these people are. I spend maybe 20 minutes a day actually looking at social media now, and the rest of the time doing actual work. I sort of transitioned from social media to just playing games on my phone, so now I got to get rid of that.
Burr's world is one where hypocrisy is the universal constant, and where worrying about geopolitics is something you do after Gin Rummy. Enter Mehdi Hassan, who has the unenviable job of bringing a machete of reality to a stand-up show. Hassan lays out the grim details: imprisoned activists, the starving children of Yemen, and Jamal Khashoggi's bonesaw execution allegedly ordered by the Saudi crown prince. His point isn't just that Saudi Arabia is oppressive, but that it's stunning how quickly Western entertainers forget that fact when the check clears.
Lujain al-Hafrul, for example, a young women's rights activist who was jailed in 2014 for trying to drive her car in Saudi Arabia. Upon her release from prison, she went to live in the UAE, where last March, she was grabbed on the side of the freeway, put in cuffs, thrown on a private jet, and taken back to Saudi Arabia against her will. Today, aged just 29 years old, she sits behind bars for the temerity of asking for women to have the right to drive. Lujain, according to her sister, as we speak tonight, is being held in solitary confinement, where she's been beaten, waterboarded, electrocuted, sexually harassed, and threatened with rape and murder. Isra al-Ghamgham is also 29 years old. She's a young Shia human rights activist arrested with her husband in 2015 for carrying out peaceful protests, not for anything violent. And yet Saudi prosecutors are seeking to behead her, to execute her. She would be the first female human rights activist to be executed in this way. According to Human Rights Watch, Isra has not been charged or convicted with any acts of violence or even anything, quote, resembling recognizable crimes. The blogger Raif Badawi had his 35th birthday last month behind bars. He hasn't seen his kids for 7 years. He was sentenced for the crime of apostasy to 10 years in prison and 1,000 lashes. Lashes. 50 of which he's already had to endure. His wife says his health has deteriorated in prison and he won't survive another round of flogging. Flogging.
The tension between Hassan's moral outrage and the comedian's moral relativism is, in itself, almost comedic. Cummings sees the internet as a broken mirror. Burr sees it as a circus. Hassan sees it as a stage where no one laughs because the act is a tragedy. For Hassan, this isn't about cancel culture or online diets. It's about complicity. For Burr and Cummings, it's about perception, context, and the general madness of a world that expects comedians to be diplomats.
And then there's Jamal Khashoggi. Jamal, who was sitting with me in the green room at Al Jazeera English last March, as we joked about his security while the Crown Prince was in town in DC. Less than 7 months later, he was dead. Brutally murdered inside the Saudi consulate in Istanbul, his body allegedly cut to pieces with a bone saw. And murdered, remember, according even to the CIA, on the direct orders of the Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. Lujain, Isra, Raif, Amal, Jamal, people who have been killed, dismembered, tortured, flogged, imprisoned, starved, sexually assaulted at the hands of our ally, our close friend, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia.
Still, Hassan's criticism cuts deeper because he's right about one thing. Both comedians, smart as they are, seem weirdly allergic to naming what everyone else is thinking. They don't want to admit that performing in a regime with a record of human rights abuses means something. Burr shrugs it off. Cummings intellectualizes it into a TED Talk on emotional nutrition. Neither directly acknowledges that they accepted a paycheck from a government allegedly responsible for murder. In a way, it's the perfect metaphor for our time. Cummings blames the social media diet. Burr blames the internet's stupidity. Hassan blames the system and the people who play along. They're all right, but they're also talking past each other. One in the language of empathy, one in cynicism, and one in moral urgency. At the end of the day, maybe it's unfair to expect comedians to be foreign policy experts. But when your gig takes place in Riyadh, under the watchful eye of a prince accused of ordering a journalist's death, the punchline starts sounding a little hollow. Hassan isn't mad at comedy. He's mad that laughter is being used as an anesthetic for conscience. If Burr's takeaway is to play more gin rummy and Cummings's is to curate a healthier information diet, Hassan's is simpler. Maybe, just maybe, some jokes aren't worth the flight.